Hello, and what is going on, everybody? It is Master of the TDS, and I am joined by my lovely wife,
WritingRaven.
And we're back for another episode of Psycho-Synopsis.
Yep.
The segment where we summarize all the Psycho for you. Just a scattering of topics throughout the week, all summarized into a neat little package for you to enjoy and consume at your leisure.
You're welcome.
Today we have a couple topics. Last week we weren't able to get a Psycho-Synopsis out.
Because of a holiday.
But now we are, and should be doing so for the foreseeable future. There are some things coming up we'll discuss when we know more. But just before we start today, I just want to mention we are currently at over 1,500 subscribers at the time of making this video. But the bigger thing is we're also at around 3,981 watch hours.
Which means we don't need that many more before we can apply for monetization.
Yes, very little. We could probably even get there definitely by the end of the week. Now, we have to still submit and get approved, but I would urge you guys, if you haven't already, make sure to watch this video, share it out so other people can see it, and watch some of our other videos you may have missed.
Indeed.
We'd really appreciate it.
Yes, we would. So, with that being said, shall we bring in our first client? ObiWan Kenobi.
It's over, Pablo. I have the high ground.
Haha.
Star Wars Story Group member Pablo Hidalgo, referred to as a, quote, mad genius, end quote, by ObiWan Kenobi writer Joby Harold, recently attempted to justify the canon-breaking revelation in the series that Obi-Wan did not know that Darth Vader is alive.
Yeah, that's not true.
So, as you can see here, Pablo says, seeing a lot of people lying about the story, Obi-Wan knowing that Vader was alive, and turning it into a story about Obi-Wan knowing that Anakin was Vader. Who knows why? Impossible to say. Then, in parentheses, money sign.
But Obi-Wan knew, canonically, that Vader and Anakin were the same person, therefore he was alive.
Yeah, Pablo Hidalgo is not very smart.
You think?
He's been known to attack fans and be ridiculously stupid. So calling him a mad genius is laughable, because the genius part makes no sense. The mad part, I guess you can call him that if you want.
If you're thinking insanity type mad, then sure.
What I think of him is he's literally the guy in the chicken suit from Toy Story 2, or Al, as you can see him all lying on the couch there.
Not the first time you've used Al from Al's Toy Barn to describe Pablo Hidalgo.
Absolutely not. And it's fitting because he is a massive chicken. Because he has his public account and then his private account where it's hidden so he can say whatever he wants. Pablo, you're an idiot. You don't know the lore. You insult fans. You insert yourself wherever you want. Pablo Hidalgo is the architect of the Jedi Temple. Get real. You're not a major Star Wars fan.
Nope.
And look, if you want to interpret lore and stuff a certain way, that is your prerogative. No one is telling you can't. But when you are part of the Lucasfilm Story Group, which is the job of that group is to make sure that they're being canonically accurate and all that kind of stuff, and you say stupid things like this...
It just ruins your credibility, for one.
And it also justifies everything that everybody says about you. And here's the thing, Pablo. People aren't doing videos just to get money. I'm sorry if your paycheck is so little from Kathleen Kennedy that you get upset when people make more money than you. But at this point, Pablo, it's really a good idea if you shut your mouth. I don't understand why you wouldn't just keep quiet. Because you're stupid. You make yourself look even stupider by doing this.
Understatement.
You're part of the story group who decided a rock could be a good character.
Yeah, that was beyond stupid.
I think you have rocks for brains, and that's probably why you're so dense.
That's insulting to rocks.
Yeah, but it's not. The dense part definitely is true.
True.
Good luck with your deflection, Pablo. If you really were so sure of yourself, you wouldn't have had to comment a bunch more times on people's posts trying to justify things. You would have just been able to say it once and been done.
Yep, pretty much.
So by your own words, you also disprove your own words. So continue to be the laughingstock of the Star Wars community, because that's what you are. But it's okay, Pablo. We won't make videos laughing at you because, as you said, emotions aren't for sharing.
Nah, we'll just laugh at you instead.
We're not sharing them with you, Pablo. We're sharing them with everyone else who's laughing collectively at you. And not for a good reason.
Shall we move on? Next up, we have Ms. Marvel.
Bestest ever!
Ugh.
Iman Vellani enters the MCU as teenage girl Kamala Khan, but her debut in Ms. Marvel has been the target of, quote, review bombing, end quote, according to some Marvel fans.
It's just a bad show. Let me look at it. It's puke-worthy, I think.
I've seen a little bit of it. The intro, at least, was enough for me to be done. I wasn't actually even going to watch it. I just saw it on Twitter. I'm not saying they didn't do well with the casting or whatever. What I'm saying is every time Marvel shows, Star Wars shows, any other TV shows do bad, it's being review bombed!
Whee!
But yet, every time you do that, suddenly a huge influx of positive reviews come in, all 10 stars, and suddenly the video becomes immediately super more positive, but that's okay. Those are all legitimate.
Yeah, they always make it work one way. It never works only one way. It always works both ways, but they like to hide the certain one way they don't like.
Exactly. And they literally ignore the fact that there's positive review bombing. And are there some people who go and review bomb negatively? Yeah.
Sure.
But a lot of people may just not like it.
Yeah, they don't accept that. Their brains can't handle it.
I know that's difficult, as my wife said, for you people to understand, because your minds can't accept it, but it's fact.
Major fact.
You remember when you could dislike a movie or TV show and it was okay?
I miss those days.
Fandom is about differing opinions. There are always going to be people who like certain things and who don't like certain things, and people who are in the middle.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to demonize one side, maybe instead what you should do is, if you like it and you enjoy it, go ahead. But unless you're going to actually have a dialogue with the people who have criticism, then don't open your mouths.
Seriously, just leave it be.
Arguments are part of fan culture, but there's ways to argue that could be a lot nicer, and these people come out of the woodwork immediately to attack you and label you and deflect. It's okay to admit that, hey, maybe you got a point. That doesn't mean you have to agree with it, but you can recognize where other people are coming from. As someone who's read a lot of Kamala Khan's run, this character was already not interesting to me, don't care how much they change it, and that's just how it is.
Yep, pretty much.
You don't have to like it, you don't have to agree, but you can also stop gaslighting fans and deflecting with, it's being review bombed!
We are allowed to not like it. The little I've seen of it is just extremely boring.
And I know people who actually think it's okay. It's an okay show from what people are saying. So we'll admit that. People are saying it's okay.
Just, we don't agree. And that's fine.
Guess what? I'm not a fan of okay television anymore. I like television that's good. And I'm not saying this show can't be good, but as of now, it's okay.
Yes.
The fact that you're already celebrating that it's the highest rated Marvel series ever after one episode,
that's just sad.
It's being positively review bombed! Don't like it when we use your own logic against you. You can't argue with us. You can't argue. Otherwise, you're a bigot.
Honey, you just said the word logic. I think you just fried their brains.
You think it's being review bombed when there's negative reviews? We think it's being positively review bombed. You can't deny it. Sorry. Unless you can say for certain that every single person who's negatively reviewing it is review bombing it, then you can't say that every positive person is not positively review bombing it. Therefore, by using your own logic, which wasn't logical to begin with, we win. You lose. The end. Go cry about it. But stop pretending that the review bomb narrative is a thing.
It's getting old. Shall we move on? Next up, we have live-action One Piece.
Oda-sama approves of this? Netflix has announced further casting details for its live-action One Piece series, unveiling the actors who will portray 6 major East Blue Saga characters,
including Dracula Mihawk, the greatest swordsman in the world,
and a race-swap version of
Nami's sister Nojiko. Oh boy.
Nobody is saying that these actors will not be good in the role. I'm making that very clear because people seem to think that, oh, well, if you don't like it, that means you're racist. No. It's not changing the source material. It's still the same character, it's just looking different. That's changing the source material.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just because Nojiko has a tan does not automatically make her black.
You could see her to the right. That is her.
That's Nojiko, Nami's older sister.
Could this actress do a great job and no one will notice? Absolutely.
Sure.
But if the actress doesn't do a good job and you're already coming off the bat making these changes, you are going to turn some people off to your project. That and Netflix live action has not had a good track record regardless, so it's not like it's something that we would really look at and go, oh, well, this is going to be good.
Yeah. definitely.
You are already working with a brand that's been sullied multiple times, who's taken live action things and changed them and made them terrible. And you're just showing that you still don't care. And I don't care if Oda's in charge and working with them on this.
I mean, wasn't it like maybe a day after this that Oda announced that he was finally finishing the series?
I don't care. At this point, I just think that, look, I'm not a huge fan of One Piece. It's a little slow for me. My wife loves it. I think that this is a silly choice. I think that regardless of whether I like it or not, when you change key elements of characters that have been portrayed certain ways for many years, and then claim it's not changing the source material because it's just changing the skin color or whatever, that's a lie. That's a deflection. That's a lie, and you know it.
Yes, it's really all you can say about that.
Claiming otherwise is not true.
I am pretty sure that someone on Twitter said that this is the reason Oda announced that he's finishing the series. Because he realizes that they're probably going to ruin his work.
If he was in charge like he claims, he would be making creative decisions that would prevent that, but it seems like he has no control over it.
Exactly, which is why I had Nojiko say that, Oda-sama.
Not interested. Think this will go over like with a clunk like usual.
The ship will sink, basically.
No, the ship won't sink because the ship would actually have to be seaworthy to begin with.
Oh yeah, good point.
Something can't sink when you already gorged out the bottom of the ship for diversity and inclusion.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The ship's gonna sink, but it's not because it didn't become seaworthy, it never was.
Sigh.
When you cut out the core fan base of a show or a property for the sake of diversity and inclusion and claim it's not fixing the story, you'll never be seaworthy.
What he said. Shall we move on? Next up we have Wednesday Addams.
Jenna Ortega will play the title role in Tim Burton's upcoming Netflix series, Wednesday.
And I have some concerns.
Let me preface this by saying that I would say I'm an avid Addams fan. I like them. My wife is definitely more the super fan.
Uh-huh.
I will say this, according to the description of what this show is going to be, of Wednesday trying to figure out what happened to her parents 25 years ago with her burgeoning psychic powers and Thing, the Frankenstein hand, it already doesn't sound like the Addams Family.
I also still think that bringing back Christina Ricci and not having her reprise Wednesday, who's holding the poison bottle in this, such a waste of casting. Though this actress who's now playing Wednesday has admitted that she's never gonna be Christina Ricci. So at least she's shown some humility and actually has said that she's doing her best to respect the role. So I can commend her for that. But I am still nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really, really nervous about this.
Yeah, and I hear you. Again, it already sounds like not the Addams Family, and everything we're seeing is making it worse.
Yes, I want it to be good. I really desperately want it to be good. I love the Addams Family. I love Tim Burton's work, but I am worried because it's Netflix, and they are going to do something, I just know it, to ruin Addams Family more than MGM already did with the animated special, which we will never speak of.
Specials, too.
I said we will never speak of.
No, Becky. Back.
Ugh. Basically, I am very concerned.
And you have every right to be.
Thank you. I know people are probably going to want us to review this. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. We shall see. But bottom line, I'm worried. And I really want it to be good. But I don't think it will be.
We want to make this clear. If it turns out that it's good and it's well done,
we will say so.
And look, we're not saying that everything needs to be exactly like the source material. We get it that things do have to change for the future and whatever. We get that. But when you come off the bat and start making some drastic changes in statements, it does get people worried.
Yes, especially with the plot leaks.
And especially with Netflix.
Oh, absolutely. Moving on. But next up we have the Munsters!
A teaser trailer for Rob Zombie's reboot of the 1960s sitcom The Munsters dropped on Wednesday.
And it is so good! It's literally just a rehashing of one of the old intros, but with the new actors, and it's absolutely amazing. I love it, 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 I love it! Thank you, Rob Zombie! I'm calm. I am not calm. I am not calm at all. I'm just really excited for this one. It was announced like literally right after the Wednesday teaser, and it made me so happy!
So, as you can hear, Raven's very upset about this. She hates it and doesn't ever want to see it.
Sarcasm, honey. Some people don't understand it.
Like you?
Oh yeah, good point. I look forward to this one. It's going to be rated PG, by the way.
Yeah, so that's a little bit concerning, and there's also going to be an Elvira cameo.
She's been cast as the Munsters real estate agent, and she's wearing full-on pink, no cleavage showing. It's really just Cassandra Peterson actually playing a human. Unfortunately, she described the character as super straight, which really bothers me.
I just think Cassandra Peterson needs to shut her mouth.
She does. She's lost all relevance.
Look, we get it. You're like 100% plastic now, okay?
More than that.
Let's have them next time put some plastic over your mouth. That way it'll really fix your character, won't it?
Yeah. But either way, Rob Zombie was a huge fan of the original Munsters, so he was clearly respecting their source material when he released this trailer. I am so excited for this movie. I really, even though Cassandra Peterson is in it, so long as it's just a small role and she's not prominent, I won't give a crap. Because I want to see this movie!
Calm down.
No.
Our neighbor's gonna get mad.
I don't care.
You should.
Screw the neighbors.
You're gonna calm down now.
But it's Munsters and Rob Zombie! And why does it being PG concern you?
Because apparently it might actually have less humor in it because of that.
Oh no. That makes it more family friendly because the original was. If it were more than just PG, it would have more blood in it, which is what Rob Zombie is known for.
That's what I was thinking, is that Rob Zombie at least makes movies like that. The fact that it's PG might hamper some of his ability. We'll see.
Maybe, but I'd still look forward to it.
Yes, we've made that very, very clear, and I'm sure everybody who watches this also knows, including all the neighbors, and the neighbors next door to that, and the neighbors next door to that, and the ones down the street.
So basically the whole neighborhood?
Yes, because you're not subtle nor quiet.
Yes, that's been a thing for my entire life.
Yes.
Get used to it.
I'm sitting right next to you.
And?
My ears.
Sorry. Your ears have my sympathies and condolences.
Moving on.
Next up, we have the Rings of Power.
All hands to the boats. The Lord of the Rings. The Rings of Potter. Actor Lenny Henry, who plays the Harfoot Sadok Burrows in the upcoming Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power series, recently claimed that the series finally sees, quote, people of color taking up space in the center of a fantasy series, end quote. And what I did was I swapped out his face for Hagrid, the other one for Harry, and because it looks like Hagrid in Harry Potter, and you would never know it was the Lord of the Rings without the logo.
Yep.
That's the point. Now, Harfoots didn't exist.
Not in this time period that you're making the show in, Amazon.
And the fact that you're saying it sees people of color taking up space, is that what you think of yourself, that you take up space? First off, that's kind of racist.
Very racist.
And second off, no matter how much you say diversity this, diversity that, it is not Tolkien's work. Therefore, slap whatever logo you want on it, but it is going to be a $1 billion bomb.
Yeah, it's gonna end up with negative billions.
And we're not just saying that based off of our perceptions of what's going on. We've heard rumors behind the scenes of what the first episode was going to be. At least I have.
I'm not sure if I have, but I imagine you have a pretty good idea.
It's not good.
Oh dear.
It's going to involve fireflies and a mute wizard using fireflies to tell people things. And
what?
Yeah, that's literally what we have to look forward to.
What?
In the first...
Are you talking about a brown wizard? The one that has a bird's nest in his hair?
The one from they're going to bring into the show apparently is mute, and he's going to use fireflies to communicate with people because reasons.
What? How does a wizard do that? How does a mute wizard cast spells unless he's a master of silent spell casting?
I don't know. Look.
Oh wait, they wouldn't have thought of that. They're not smart enough.
And of course, then making Galadriel warrior, which she's not.
She's not supposed to be!
And if you don't like it, you're a bigot, you're racist, you're sexist, blah, 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 bingo.
Etc.
It's not Tolkien. It's not Lord of the Rings. Slap whatever logo you want, cry as much as you want, gaslight as much as you want, but the Tolkien fan base isn't taking it this time.
No, you've really messed with the wrong franchise for once, Hollywood. You really, really have.
And you've planned 5 seasons of this, and you already know what the closing shot is? I'm calling it. I'd be very surprised if we get to that closing shot, because I don't think it's going to do as well as you say, and I'm going to call it now. It will start to do badly, and we'll get the, it's being review bombed!
You should put that in the bingo.
It's being review bombed! It is in the bingo.
Oh, it is? I
Yep.
didn't realize.
But it's being review bombed! No, it's not. It just sucks balls. Again, it's generic medieval style show. It's like they're trying to make this into Game of Thrones.
Which is what the Amazon CEO said he wanted. He wanted a Game of Thrones, which he's trying to use Lord of the Rings for, and Lord of the Rings was never, ever meant to be a Game of Thrones.
Cry, scream, yell, deflect all you want. We all see through this. Your narratives aren't going to work, no matter how many sites you pay to try and show for this. It's garbage.
Indeed.
Sauron's not even going to be the big bad in the first series. They've made up a fictional character called Adar, who stands for father, and father's going to be the bad guy.
I just find it funny that Adar is the Hebrew month of Purim.
Which means everything's turned upside down, which definitely this show is.
Oh, indeed.
So, continue to claim this is Lord of the Rings. It's going to get panned, it's going to get destroyed, and I will look forward to all the videos we can make laughing at you trying to deflect and failing.
I agree. And to bring in our last client of the day, we once again have Ezra Miller, that psychopath.
Where's Ezra Miller? In light of their parents' recent public claims that the Flash and Fantastic Beasts star Ezra Miller used a variety of cult-like behaviors to groom their daughter, beginning at the age of 12, Tokata Iron Eyes has issued a public statement both denying his accusations and chastising the public for their response to the developing story. Now, this is very recent news. We had already planned to cover this already, but this was before she came out with a public statement. She did come out with one on her Instagram, which people felt that Ezra was manipulating her to do.
But it was very, very soon after this statement was released that he suddenly went missing.
And she made a statement saying that basically everything's fine, but as someone who's watched the statement, she said it very, very, very slowly, which to me seems like she's on something.
Or it was scripted.
Let's read her original statement, though. She said, "I'd like to make a statement to acknowledge the tragedy that is the narrative of the general public and the assumptions made on my behalf by my family and friends regarding my stability and otherwise. I dropped out of the Bard 5 months ago. My friend and comrade William passed shortly thereafter. My mind was incredibly impacted and I needed space and time for the processing of grief. My comrade Ezra Miller, for entirety of the aforementioned era, has only provided loving support and invaluable protection throughout this period of loss. I am in no way or any other circumstance have ever been, during the short-lived adulthood, in need of a conservatorship. My father and his allegations hold no weight and are frankly transphobic and based in the notion that I am somehow incapable of coherent thought or opposing opinions to those of my own kindred, worrying about my well-being. I am now aware of the severity of the emotional and psychological manipulation I was made to endure while in my parents' home. I am an adult and I deserve to feel authority in my own body. I am tired of wondering whether or not cops will show up to section me on a daily basis. I have decided upon a therapist and I'm excited to now engage in conversation with a mental health professional about my anxiety and probable depression. It is no one's business, my choices are my own, and as to the nature of the police intervention in my case, it is unnecessary and it is a waste of time and resource. This bout of blatant betrayal and toxicity my parents and others have chosen to punish me with has been desperately embarrassing and traumatically life-altering. Relationships in my life have been grossly affected, some detrimentally so. This behavior is unacceptable and needs to be called out."
That sounds like she was manipulated.
Yes, look, we're not claiming either or. What I will say is this, and this is what I've stressed all the time. Whether this is true or not, Ezra Miller clearly needs help. Clearly.
The man is mentally ill. And yes, I said man.
He is doing some crazy things, and now when he's going to be served in this case, he disappeared.
Yeah.
You tell me what that tells you.
It tells me he's guilty.
I don't know. Long story short, I really do hope that Ezra gets the help that he needs. I doubt he will, though.
Yeah.
Because Hollywood doesn't care about mental health of their actors. They just care about using them for diversity points and checkboxes.
Unfortunately.
So we'll have to wait and see how this unfolds. Maybe Ezra will be found, maybe he won't. We will continue to cover this as it continues to unfold.
Indeed. And with that being our final client of the day, it is time to reveal the diagnosis of the week.
And this is one we've used before, but I think it's appropriate here.
Do tell.
So the diagnosis for this week is histrionic personality disorder.
Please explain.
So histrionic personality disorder is a pervasive pattern of excessive emotionality and attention seeking. Beginning in early adulthood and being present throughout life. It's basically, displays of behavior to gain attention, shifting emotions, all this kind of stuff. And that's basically what we've seen now in the mainstream media. They're very uncomfortable when fans voice their opinions, so they do whatever they can, make big statements claiming they're racist, sexist, whatever it is, to try and deflect from the narrative. And they try to do whatever they can to make it seem like it's all our fault, when in reality, they just want attentions by using special words, and they don't actually care about the people they claim to care about. They never have. They use them as marketing tools, and that is literally all they are. Until more people wake up to this, it will never change. If you want to normalize something, you need to be able to recognize that making a big statement about it is not helping. And using it as a shield from criticism does not actually work as a shield from criticism. All it does is reveal that you have no actual narrative or standing to back up your claims on.
What he said.
And that's why I think it's a very good diagnosis for this week.
I agree.
So now we come to the remedy of the week, and this one is going to be quite special because it's someone we've gotten to know very well in the past couple months, and we wanted to make sure to recognize that.
So this week we're sending you to our friend Mary Mayhem. She does streams, she also is on Twitch, she runs a show called Shenanigans in which she gets very drunk and crazy. Yes, I said it, it's the only thing I can make fun of her about. But she is very nice, very sweet, and has been very good to us. So go give her some support.
Yeah, head on over there and bother her, I guess. But we do really appreciate her and, Caffeinated Wolf, which is her partner. And we just really appreciate that they've reached out to us and made an effort with us. I've been on a couple streams discussing Amber Heard with them and other things. So we really wanted to take the time to tell them how much we appreciate them. And so head on over there. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Let's see if we can get them to 10K.
Indeed. And let her know that Gothic Therapy referred you.
Indeed. But anyways, that's all we have for this week. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and also make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe with notifications on so you do not miss your weekly therapy session.
Or you will be charged. Smash that like button like it's a bad kitty. And don't forget that when you subscribe, your first session is free. You can also find links to all of our socials in the description below, as well as links to our merch store and our Discord server called The Clinic. Be sure to check them out.
Yep. And that's all we have for this week, and we will see you guys in the next one, and stay tuned for details on project we have coming up.
Indeed. Gothic Therapy, out.